This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 703. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today it's Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley, plus some interesting WOW SCHATZ WOW news from Hollywood and the world of entertainment, and a new Marvel movie with a new Marvel comic book superhero they're pulling out. I'll tell you about Mike's Daily Podcast. And on yesterday's show, let's see, Benita the Rodeo Queen said something that made me shout, Mike's Daily Podcast. She said that she likes audacious people, but I do not, because they get me really hot under the collar. They frustrate me because they like to get my goat. Hey, I just noticed something. I'm on a boat right now. Wait, there are no boats in Podcastro Valley. Mike's Daily Podcast. What is this? Oh, we've sprung a leak here at the last place on earth. Don't ask me how this happened. Mike's, but it did. Daily. And now the water's gone. Podcast. What? How did that? Yeah! I'm telling you, all this stuff going on here. A lot of special effects being used on this podcast today. Like the water. And then we pay a lot of money for all the pyrotechnics. Oh, that's cool too. Hey, so today, speaking of pyrotechnics, some explosions and fireworks went off in my heart today because I was down at my local coffee place called Cafe Rumi. By the way, I have mentioned that coffee place once before on the show, and today one of the guys that worked there said, hey, you going to mention us on your podcast? And I'm like, okay, yeah. Even though I don't get anything free out of it. But they do have my flyer up in there, so maybe I'm getting free publicity. I don't know how this whole thing works out, but I love going to that place. It's really close. I bring my dog there. The owner's really nice. It's wonderful. And I'm sitting there today, and there's this beautiful woman that comes up and talks to Basil. And she's very nice, and I'm like, okay, well, she's gonna leave, because whenever I see a beautiful woman, I see them for like 5 seconds and then they're gone. No, she sits down at the table next to mine, and we end up talking for a while. And you know what she looks like? She looks kind of like that really beautiful actress that plays the daughter of Craig T. Nelson on Parenthood. Not the Lauren Hall. What the heck's her name? Not the Gilmore Girls girl, but the other one, the blonde. She kind of looks like her. And it's like, ooh. And I was talking to her for a while, but did I get her phone number? Did any other contact other than that? No. But the possible, hey, might see you here again sometime. Okay. Thumbs up sign. Yeah. Look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega. And you need to make the move, Michael Matthews. You have to get her phone number. Demand it! What? Is that what I have to do? Oh. All men know this, Michael Matthews. It's hardwired into their DNA. Are you not a man? I am a man. The moment just didn't seem to present itself to ask for her phone number. In fact, I kind of got the vibe she may have been married. Did she have a ring on her finger? Did she have a ring on her finger? See, that's something, as a single person, I should be, and someone of my age should be totally on top of that. Looking at hands and checking for ringers on the finger. And I haven't gotten that. I haven't trained myself to do that. So maybe I should, practice at home. Put rings on my hand and see if I see any. And that would be I don't know if that would be an accurate exercise. Maybe there's some kind of training online that I can pay a lot of money for. Like, what's that, luminosity? That sounds like a con. That sounds like a sham. That sounds like a sham wow. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Maybe no one else knows what I'm talking about. But that hasn't stopped us before. Look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the working attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we think that you should do some practicing right now. Take a look. See which one of us is married there, Mike.
Well, I know already neither one of you are married.
Yeah, but do we have rings on our fingers? Maybe we have some kind of adornment on our fingers there. Do we have them? Don't look now. You had your chance. Do it from memory. Do we have any rings, Mike? There.
No, I'm going to say neither one of you have any sort of jewelry on. It's not called jewelry when a man wears it. Do you know that? It's called adornment. Oh, well, neither one of you have any adornment.
Wrong, Mike. I actually have a nose ring.
What? There's nothing in your nose. Nothing's pierced in your nose. You got like a normal nose.
Yeah, it's invisible.
They don't make those. Stealth nose rings? Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
Hey, that's funny, Mike. Do you know that? Michael Master, this humor today, it is very cloudy with a chance of rain. You don't like my humor today? No, Michael Master. In fact, I think you should stop making jokes about nose rings. But they're wonderful, especially when you sneeze and you're blowing your nose and it pops out. That doesn't ever happen. Yeah, it does. It doesn't? Why do people make fashion choices like that? Adornment choices like that? They're making choices based on what a bull wears, basically. You want to look like a bull? What are you going to next, put horns on your head? I don't get it, Michael Matthew. I'm working on a whole other level of comedy. It's the level that there's no oxygen in, so it just dies. This is fascinating. They're doing another Marvel movie with another Marvel superhero. And actually, I believe they did a made-for-TV movie of this superhero back in the 70s. But the superhero is Doctor Strange. Not Doctor Strange Love with the immortal Peter Sellers. No, this is Doctor Strange. This according to Entertainment Weekly and their InsideMovies.ew.com. Marvel Studios just lost a director for Ant-Man, which that seems to be in development for centuries now, Ant-Man. But it appears they have found a director to bring Doctor Strange to the screen. They're looking to sign Scott Derrickson. Doctor Strange is a film about the master of the mystic arts and his battles with various magical, psychedelically dressed villains. Derrickson is a horror director best known for Sinister and The Exorcism of Emily Rose, plus the upcoming Deliver Us from Evil. Derrickson also directed Keanu Reeves in the movie that nobody saw called The Day the Earth Stood Still. But oddly enough, I have a t-shirt that my ex-wife got from Comic-Con the year they were promoting that. I think that was 2008. She got a t-shirt that was promoting that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and it's got that phrase that the robot says. And I'll be wearing that, and people go, "Oh, that's from The Day the Earth Stood Still. That was a great movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this is promoting the Keanu Reeves movie." And they're like, "That movie sucked." And I'm like, "Yeah." Not much is, even though I've never seen it. But it couldn't have sucked that bad because Jennifer Connelly was in it. And every movie she's in is fantastic. What? Yeah, Labyrinth. That was like her first one. That was fantastic, wasn't it? David Bowie? Scary? Interesting? Muppets? Not much is known, I should say, about this Doctor Strange movie. Although the head of Marvel movies, Kevin Feige, is an avowed fan of Doctor Strange, and he said that he's a great standalone character in that world of pure magic we haven't done yet. And you can anticipate that Doctor Strange is an attempt to expand the Marvel Cinematic Universe into new genre territory, much like this summer's space type movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Derrickson's role as a director could imply that the film will be more horror tinged, Marvel had no comment on Derrickson's role in the production, so expect him to come on stage with the full Doctor Strange cast next month at Comic-Con. Yes, it's coming back around. The question is, since Josh Brolin and Vin Diesel are already in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, who's going to play Dormammu? That's a very famous Doctor Strange villain. What do you think of Doctor Strange being made into a movie? Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com, or read your comments on the section emails from email. Also, email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. And check out the wonderful website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. That's where I have links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. Subscribe to this show in iTunes. And you can also rate and comment on the show. If you do that, more people find out about us. There's also a link to where to find us on Facebook. Like the Facebook page. When I post a new show, share it with your friends so more people find out about us. There's also where to find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Yelp, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube. Click on the Amazon deal today and buy something at a great discount, and that also helps out the show. There's also the blog and the daily podcast picture, and every interview I've done here on Mike's Daily Podcast, you can find all there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Wow, Schatz, wow.
So my mom says this funny thing when I tell her something that surprises her. She goes, "Wow, Schatz, wow." So here are some stories that will make you go, "Wow, Mike, wow." Or if you want to call me Schatz, that's fine too. Let's start off with some Jack Black.
Rock is not the devil's work, it's magical and rad. I'll never rock as long as I am stuck here with my dad.
I think I'm the only person in the world that loves the Pick of Destiny. Or maybe there's a couple other people that even listen to this show. But speaking of Jack Black, I go and see a lot of his movies. One of his movies that, I don't know if it was huge. It was definitely an independent film. Bernie. When convicted murderer Bernie Tiede, or is it Tiede? We'll call him Tide, because it kind of looks like Tide. When Bernie Tide, the real-life inspiration for Richard Linklater's 2012 film Bernie, starring Jack Black and Shirley MacLaine, walked out of prison on May 6th, after almost 17 years behind bars, there were strict conditions. He had to post a $10,000 bond, he had to maintain employment, and move into an apartment on Richard Linklater's property in Austin. Richard Linklater says, "What people hear is that the judge ordered Bernie to live with me, like Now We're the Odd Couple or something. I have a garage apartment, and I let friends and family stay there. Bernie is a friend. He's getting back on his feet. To me, it's not a big deal." In 1999, Bernie Tide received a life sentence for killing his 81-year-old companion, Marjorie Nugent. But after Bernie, the movie, brought the case back into the public eye, new lawyers joined his quest to be released. Both Bernie's lawyers and his district attorney, Danny Buck Davidson, agreed that Marjorie's murder was a crime of passion rather than a premeditated one, and they asked a judge for a lighter sentence. His lawyers also discovered that Bernie, now 55, had been a victim of sexual abuse when he was younger. Richard Linklater is quick to deflect credit for springing Bernie and praises Bernie's lawyers and Davidson instead. He also points out that there are plenty of folks behind bars who don't deserve to be. He says there's a lot of people who didn't have much money and got a crappy lawyer. Most guys don't have a movie made about them.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said be.
NBC wants you to laugh. They haven't created a hit comedy, and we mean that one that can actually dependably deliver good ratings, since 2005's The Office. So it's turning to the viewers for help. The NBC Comedy Playground is an, quote, unprecedented effort to give wannabe sitcom writers a chance to pitch ideas. You can submit up to two 2 to 5 minute video pitches, which will be screened and whittled down to 10 finalists. Then an all-star panel, such as it's going to feature Seth Meyers, Amy Poehler, Jason Bateman. They're going to help root out 2 lucky winners, who will then have their show, a pilot and up to 4 additional episodes, broadcast on NBC. This isn't an offshoot of feeling disappointed with the comedy we have, insists President of NBC Entertainment Jennifer Salke, who watched much hyped sitcoms like Sean Saves the World and the Michael J. Fox show launch and then fail this season. She says it just speaks to how challenging it is to find authentic voices. There's a lot of room for innovation. Submit your comedy pitches to NBCComedyPlayground.com. And both of those stories, by the way, from Entertainment Weekly.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
From the video game BioShock, Good Night, Irene. Very old song. How old? Well, we're going to find out in this story from the wonderful San Francisco Weekly. Not Santa Francisco, because that would have been a Santa Francisca, would have been a woman. Never mind. Okay, so Carl Haber, he's a physicist at Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. He has recently been awarded a MacArthur Genius Grant for a breakthrough in technology known as the Irene Project, which non-invasively reads fragile old audio recordings and converts them into crystal clear digital files. He has just been publicly named a genius and awarded $625,000 for the honor. What earned Haber and his team the award is a technique for capturing high-resolution images of the surfaces of sound recordings that are too old and fragile to be played, such as wax cylinders or shellac. Not vinyl, Haber insists. The resulting image map is then used to create a virtual stylus that mimics the motion of a real stylus so precisely that the audio content can be reproduced digitally without anything touching the fragile audio source. Named for the Weavers version of Goodnight Irene, which was the first recording his team successfully digitized, the Irene Project has made Haber a highly sought-after ally to organizations such as the Library of Congress. To work his magic on their collection of rare field recordings, some of them no living human has ever laid ears on, and they could be irreparably damaged if played. Quote, "We have recorded examples of cultures, languages, ways of life that simply don't exist anymore," Haber explains. He says it's a unique slice of the human experience. Despite the attention he's received for his innovation, Haber is persistently deferential to the contributions of other members of his team at the Lawrence Berkeley Lab. In fact, he credits his former postdoc Vitaly Fadiev with developing the technique. He was the one who came in on a Saturday and actually sat there for an hour and measured a disc and photographed it, he says. In 2002, Haber and Fadiev began conversations about applying a smart scope, essentially a high-resolution digital camera with the magnifying power of a microscope, to old audio recordings. Haber, a non-musician who studies particle physics, got the idea while listening to an NPR broadcast about the dangers of attempting to play fragile old recordings, audio recordings. We'd had a lot of conversations about how this technology could work, but actually hearing that was an aha moment, he says. The quality of the recordings they're able to produce is staggering. Their website hosts an example of Goodnight Irene as reproduced via the tool and as played from the original recording with a stylus and turntable. The former is crisp and robust with a handful of crackles from the source audio. The latter is nearly unintelligible. One of Haber's principal collaborators, Earl Cornell, demonstrates how they are able to scan a disc and isolate any imperfections, scratches or pops, or just digitally remove them. On a monitor, he points out these conspicuous crags in the otherwise neatly zigzagging white lines that represent the path of the stylus. The next horizon for this technology, says Cornell, is a push to make things more user-friendly, taking out of the exclusive purview of physicists and programmers. Before that, though, Haber hopes that the cumbersome technology that enables the IRENE project can be parked in the various locations where it is needed. And he and his team are now installing a system in Massachusetts at the Northeast Document Conservation Center. And there are plans to put multiple machines in Europe. Each of these will empower curators and collectors the world over to digitize and bring old documents to light. Haber envisions a resource like Google Books emerging from the collected information, a database where researchers, academics, and musicians can listen to the recordings and determine their significance. One such organization already benefiting from the IRENE project is the Bill Holmes Center for the Study of Northwest Coast Art at the Burke Museum in Seattle. Its collection of wax cylinder recordings by the late anthropologist Franz Boas provides a crucial window into the experience of the Kwakwaka'wakw population. I think I may have pronounced that correctly. An indigenous Northwest tribe based in the Fort Rupert, British Columbia. In 1930, Boas documented their potlatch ritual at a time when such customs were deemed uncivilized by Christian missionaries and banned under Canadian law. As Dr. Catherine Bunn Marcus explains it, IRENE allows descendants of the Kwakwaka'wakw to hear their ancestors performing these rituals for the first time. These communities don't have any easy access to this material otherwise, she says. I look at this as a form of digital repatriation.
She tried to pay me with a kiss and I began to understand there's something women like about a pickup man.
Pickup artist Vince Hollywood Kelvin. He is amid a glut of dating app sites. He, 46 years old, shows men how to approach women in person with a heavy French accent, pink hair, and enough accessories to evoke the drummer of a forgotten hair metal band. Kelvin leads groups of 10 to 30 local men around Union Square in San Francisco as he performs live PUA demos. That would be pickup artist demos. Kelvin's students are capable of running a small country. They're successful architects, computer engineers, and CTOs. But in an embodiment of the shy nerd cliche, their effective communication with the opposite sex eludes them, according to this article from San Francisco Weekly. Over the past 10 years, Kelvin has coached more than 2,000 Bay Area men. There's even an invite-only secret Bay Area PUA Facebook group with 200 members. It's good business for Kelvin, whose fees range from $200 to $2,000 for seduction coaching seminars, boot camps, and private sessions. His services stretch to Europe and even Australia, but he's found a home base in the Bay Area where he leads up to a dozen PUA boot camps and seminars. Kelvin, this every year, he says that his San Francisco clients tend to be intellectuals who overanalyze every situation and can't get out of their own heads as they dissect and evaluate each interaction while it's occurring. It's a kiss of death for chemistry. They're also very shy, reluctant to make advances unless they're absolutely confident that they won't get rejected. Well, in 1991, Kelvin's wife, Erica, who'd been his college sweetheart, disappeared from their LA home. He says that after a spat, she went out and never came home. Weeks later, she was found dead. He says police told him and Erica's mother that she might have overdosed, though he says she wasn't particularly fond of drugs. He says he was devastated and felt stuck. The future life coach's response was to seek a life coach. Within a year, he became a self-help devotee, following Tony Robbins on speaking tours, studying self-improvement, and eventually teaching it. In 1998, Kelvin received Robbins' Leadership Award. Since then, he's been married and divorced 3 times. He says, I like weddings, the anticipation, the ceremony. The marriage record also makes it easier for him to relate to his divorced and relationship-minded clients. Critics of the pickup artist movement focus on the calculation and manipulation required to achieve the debatable goal of putting notches in belts, but if there's something cynical in the approach, it may be inherent in the rules governing online communication. According to Matthias Crawford, human-computer interaction fellow at Stanford. If you see something weird in a bar, you laugh it off. Online, it's very high stakes, and you've just blown your one chance to make an impression. A bad pickup line sent via an online dating site can disqualify you, but in the flesh, there's an immediate chance for a rebound. You can save the interaction by laughing at yourself, and you can get immediate social cues that tell you to modify or continue your behavior. According to Crawford, many PUA tactics are an extension of the rapid-fire results that people have grown to expect online. A lot of what happens online is application-based or task-specific work. I'm buying something, I'm posting something. The things we do through computer-mediated devices extend and deploy themselves in our lives. If you develop this transactional model, you start to expect those types of transactions in real life. Well, Kelvin, meanwhile, believes that he's actually helping women by training men to be better communicators. I've witnessed too many guys act so creepy or unpleasant, he says. To me, women are saying, please act normal, please be the masculine polarity. And meanwhile, Kelvin is laughing all the way to the bank.
When I turned 16, I saved a few $100. My first car was a...
As we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And close by to Podcastro Valley, California is the town of Hayward, and there's the Hayward Regional Shoreline. The picture from yesterday was taken there, the podcast picture, and also today's, where there was a cool sort of moment where the sun was reflecting off the water. I like those sun reflecting off water pictures are sort of my thing, my bag. So enjoy that picture there and see a little bit of the Bay Area at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Michael Matthew, I think what you need to do is to talk to a pickup man so that you will know exactly what to do with a woman. Ooh.
That's an interesting suggestion, Madame Rootabega. Maybe I'll take that. Although, I would actually rather hear the woman's point of view and hear what they have to say, how they would like to be approached. So, Madam, any tips, any ideas?
Yes, Michael Matthew, I think you need to bathe, and you need to be confident, and you need to be able to speak in French.
You like the French language?
It's the language of love.
Love?
Yes, Michael Matthew.
Oh. So that's what I'll do. I'll take a French class and I'll be all set to go. And a confidence class. And then a bathing class. Maybe I can have that all done at the same class. Probably we'll be able to find that class somewhere in the Bay Area. I'll let you know. But that's what we'll do on an upcoming show. But in the next show, for sure, we're going to be talking to a guy from Sweden. Didn't we talk to a band from Sweden? Wasn't that the Kinetics? Was the name of the band? But this time around, we're going to be talking to a guy named HICKS. His band is actually called HICKS. And he's called HICKS. I don't know, it's confusing. He'll explain it all on the next show. He's written songs for some big rock artists. Big rock bands from the 80s like Survivor. And he's written songs for Jim Jamison, the lead singer of Survivor. I loved Jim's voice. Also, Bobby Kimball of TOTO. Loved Bobby's voice. He sings the, big TOTO songs. Like Toe the Line. And that one. Hold the Line is what I meant. That one. He sings on Roseanne, doesn't he? And a little bit of Africa. See, that's how big a fan I am. I know all those things. Also, he's written for Dan Huff of the 80s rock band Giant. I'll see you in my dreams, back in your arms again. On the lonely days of memories, I'll see. And Jeff Scott Soto, who had replaced Steve Perry for a while in Journey. Plus, we'll hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
I hate invisible nose rings. Don't know if I put one in or not.